Greetings, how are you all? Today we are going to talk about 5 authors that I really am excited to read from. One I already have read from, and the rest are ones that have just stuck in my brain and are now on a ever-growing list of indie authors I want to read from. So I'm excited, so excited. So if you would like to know who I recommend to you and why, please keep watching. First up, Zach Argyle. This absolute beauty of a book is the first in a trilogy, the Threadlight series. I read this. I've also read 5 Silver Rings, which is a novella, and I said novella, it's like 50 pages long. But it is the shortest but most impactful novella I have read ever. So if you, I think I got it because you sign up to his newsletter. So I think I don't know if it's like freely available to download other than if you follow his newsletter and get his newsletter, but I'm so glad I did, because that was just, I don't know how he's done it. But also we need to talk about, look how pretty this cover is for one. Can we just the beauty of it all. So Zach Argyle came onto my radar through, I think it was Chelsea from Not So Sick a Bookaholic, if I'm honest. I'd heard the name bad about before then, but it was when Chelsea read The Voice of War in one of her vlogs. I was like, dude, that sounds like my jam. So I audibly read. I read it on Audible. No, I didn't. I read it with my ears. I was about to order the first one when Dated Signed Editions of the trilogy was available on Broken Binding, and I was like, mine. So here we are. I don't think I would do the synopsis. I don't think I will do this justice by reading my thoughts out, because the brain is mumbled. So I will read some of the synopsis to you, so you know what it's about. While preparing for the birth of his first child, Chris Valerian is tasked with uncovering the group responsible for a series of missing thread weavers, those able to see and manipulate thread light. With each failure, the dark voice in his head grows louder, begging to be released. A girl from a secret city in the centre of Fair and Wild veers off course to explore the streets of Alkia. She never expected that her journey would end in chains. Far in the desert to the south, the young man's life changes after he dies. When Chris learns who is responsible for the missing threadweavers, they come for him and his family. He must do everything in his power to protect those he loves, even if it means trusting a stranger, or worse, the dark voice in his mind. Together they will change the world, whether they intend to or not. I mean, that synopsis grabbed me anyway, but I've read this book already, and the magic system in this is just peak. So what you can weave, whether you are a thread weaver or not, is dependent on your eye colour. So if you have green, it's emerald. You can thread weave with green threads. If you have blue eyes, it's sapphire. You can manipulate blue threads. And if you have brown eyes, you are achromatic, which means you have no thread weaving magic whatsoever. Along comes Chris's child, who has amber eyes. That is all I'm going to say. What does that mean? What does that mean? You shall find out. Read this, and you will find out. We now have the other 2 books in the series. Can you see? And I will be reading them as soon as I can, because I want to. Next up, we have Escape First Contact by T.S. Beer. This is a sci-fi. I know, sci-fi. Let me get the synopsis up for you. So, this is one that was brought to my attention. I think it was a submission for SPFBO. I may be wrong. Or maybe I just found it and downloaded it. I can't remember. It's on my Kindle anyway. I do currently own it on Kindle, or rented it from Kindle. I don't know. It's on my Kindle, either way. Not that you care. So, Escape First Contact is, I want to get more into sci-fi, but because I've not read much sci-fi, I don't know what kind of sci-fi I do and don't like. So this is perfect for me to dip my toes in a little bit. So, it says, at the far edges of cultivated space, a derelict ship rests, 10 times larger than the biggest Terran dreadnought. The ship is not recognised by any of the 5 species tenuously coexisting in the galaxy. Small crews are sent to investigate. What they find is a trap. Once in the metal labyrinth's clutches, it is clear that unlikely allies will not escape unless they can work together as a team. Unfortunately, trust and cooperation are entirely out of the question. I mean, is it going to be reluctant fan family vibes? I'm feeling that it might be very reluctant fan family and they grow to care for each other and like rely on each other. And even if they don't, I think it's going to be a whole heap of fun, and it's the first in the trilogy, I think. Is it? Yes. The Burnt Ship trilogy. Okay, the next up we have The Actors' Trials by D.T. Kane. And this one was one that was going around Twitter, and I saw the cover, I saw that it was in a high fantasy type situation, and I was like, gimme, 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 and I'll read you the synopsis. It's a very long synopsis, so I'll read you a little bit of it. So, in the land of Oration, magic is cast by reading aloud words of power from spoken books. Only a select few, the speakers, are born with the ability to do so, but after a disaster nearly destroyed Oration, society grew to fear the speakers' power, and they were hunted and enslaved. Never taught to read, now they live in the oppression, unable to use their magic unless the spell is first read aloud to them. Each year, young men and women from Oration's ruling libraries compete in the Actors' Trials, a journey that takes them through the wilds of Oration to the ruined city of Tome. Once Oration's capital, it is now abandoned, though the great library at its centre still holds a wealth of spoken books. As speakers are no longer taught to read, they can also not write, so new spoken books have not been created in hundreds of years. The discovery of a new book is a coveted prize for any young noble, and I'm going to leave it there because give me trials. The trials trope is one that I really enjoy, and I really do hope that the fact that this is named Actors' Trials really means that there's going to be actual trials in here. If there's no trials, I will be very, very frustrated, but I think it will be great, and I've heard nothing but good things. Next up we have D.A. Smith, who wrote The Blood of Outcasts. Another SPFBO 8 submission. I don't know where he got in SPFBO, but that's when it came onto my radar, and it's now on my Kindle just staring at me waiting to read, and I'm excited because the second book is also out now, so I need to get moving with this ASAP Rocky. So I'll read a little bit of the first synopsis. So the tagline says, a clan destroyed, a pact with a beast, a warrior will spill her own cursed blood for vengeance. Do I need to read the synopsis after that? Nah, I won't. If you are interested in this book, again, I'll try and leave everything linked down below of where you can get the book from, but I'm excited for this one. And every time I read the synopsis or that tagline, it just makes me want to read it straight away, but you know, I have a TBR that I need to stick to, so I'll read it at some point, I promise. So the final one is Bengali, and the book that I've seen going around is Forever King, but I don't think that that's his first series. I don't think it is. I'll just double check on the Amazons because I'm sure that he's written a book. Is it called Written? I think. Yeah. Written was released in 2010, so that was his first book. I've seen I get confused sometimes because the covers of his books are quite similar. I will leave a Written and the Forever King up here so you can see. There's definitely a theme, but yeah. So the one that I saw going around was Forever King, so I'm going to read the synopsis of this one for you. In Amanaska, to consort with magic is to court death. Banned by the Arca Empire, magic's purging has finally brought peace to a war-torn land. Like any dutiful citizen, Mithrid Fen wants nothing to do with magic, but when an illegal spellbook washes up on a beach after a battle between giant, unknown ships, Mithrid Fen is thrust into a war she never knew existed. Her family slaughtered, Mithrid finds herself hunted by demons and the Emperor's assassins. She is dragged inexorably north to Skalussen, where mages, dragons, beast people and witches doggedly wage a war for freedom against the tyrannical empire. And I'm gonna leave it there because that sounds amazing. These books are very high high on my list of want to reads. If I could literally sit and read and review these books all day, I would. I just can't. I do have quite a few of these on my Kindle already, just sitting and waiting for me to peruse them and read them, but I just haven't had time. And I am going to try my best to make more time for indie books in the next 12 months, which is why, as part of my TBR game, I've not given myself too much to read, and a lot of the books I can get on audio when they're not indie books. It's the indie books I'm struggling to get on audio. And I know getting a narrator and stuff is very expensive, so I don't expect indie authors to do this. It's not an expectation that it has to go on audio. I will just try my best to read them as quickly as I possibly can, especially the ones I've been sent for review, because I feel bad that I haven't reviewed them yet. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. If you like me and you like what you see, please like, comment, subscribe and share and do all that good stuff. Leave a comment down below on any books that you recommend. As always, I am open to recommendations. I can't say when I will get around to them, but if I haven't already read them, I will try my best to get around to them as soon as possible. As always, there's a Google form link down below for those recommendations, and if you want to let me know you're here but you don't have anything to say, black heart is very much appreciated. Until next time, enjoy the rest of your morning, afternoon, night, wherever you are. I'll see you soon.
Every time I fall in love, it seems to be at the wrong